I often say that the development race off the track is better and more important in a sense than the race on the track in Formula 1. After all, if you design the fastest car in F1, you're probably going to win the championship. If you design a car that's not particularly great, you're on a hide into nothing. And one of the most important tools when it comes to designing the best car in Formula 1 is the wind tunnel. A lot of F1 teams have one. Every team in F1 uses one at least, or at least rents it out anyway. But what are these? How do they work? And why are they so important in the F1 car development race? Well, I'm going to dive into all of that during this video for you guys. So F1 wind tunnels work by blowing air over a scale model of a car to measure aerodynamic forces and optimize design. Some F1 wind tunnels are big enough to get an actual car in there, I believe, which again, that helps compared to a model. Now, if you are using a model, it's typically around 60% of the actual size of the real car, and it's placed in the tunnel and subjected to wind speeds of up to 50 meters per second, which I believe off the top of my head from way back in the day when I used to do physics at A level in my degree, that is about 180 miles an hour, something like that. It's very fast. It's something like 1 meters per second for every 3 miles an hour. Sensors and cameras collect data on the drag, downforce and airflow patterns that are being produced, which engineers use to refine the car's shape for maximum performance on track. And they also use this as well to measure how upgrades are going to actually upgrade a car, if it is an improvement or not, before going to manufacture it for the full-size car and testing it out on the track. But again, more about that in my development video that I did earlier this week as well. F1 teams use the wind tunnel to check whether ideas that look good in computer simulations actually work in reality, and they also analyze the effectiveness of the different concepts, components and upgrades. In real life, as the car goes along the track, it moves through the air. In the wind tunnel, this is flipped around. The model is stationary and the air is pushed over it, essentially blowing wind with a large fan. Wind tunnels were originally developed for the aircraft industry and have been used in Formula 1 for around 50 years now. Indeed, Red Bull's wind tunnel, the one they used to use, I think they've got a new one now, but the one they used to use, the one they designed all of Sebastian Vettel's title-winning Red Bulls in the early 2010s, those were actually produced using a wind tunnel from the Second World War, believe it or not, which I found incredible. I mean, Adrian Newey, man, what a genius. If he doesn't win a title with Aston Martin, something's very wrong with the world. Over time, F1 wind tunnels have evolved, becoming even more specialised. One of the biggest differences between the tunnels used in the aerospace industry and those in motorsport is the F1 wind tunnel has moving ground. This is essentially a very fast conveyor belt that travels at the same speed as the wind, simulating in effect the relative flow between the car and the road. Whereas the real chassis is made from carbon, the centre of the wind tunnel is made from a solid aluminium structure called the spine, with various components bolted onto it. This allows engineers to easily change one area of the car without affecting the others, and most parts of the F1 wind tunnel model are used using rapid prototyping and 3D printing components like the wings made of metal. The model is packed with sensors, and analysts then use different high-tech methods to gather data on it. They can also change the height and altitude of the model during the test to simulate how the car changes and navigates its way around the track. One run in the tunnel results in a huge amount of data to analyze. It all helps the team build a picture of what the airflow is doing and decide if a concept or upgrade can progress to the track, i.e. is an upgrade actually going to upgrade it? Look at how much Red Bull struggled this season with their so-called upgrades. The Mercedes wind tunnel has been designed to take a full-scale car, and this has been done in the past, but the rule makers were concerned this is too expensive, so now teams are limited to 60% scale model. Also, I will correct what I said earlier on, so they could use it, they can do it, they are big enough for it, but 60% models are now the rule. You can't use full-scale models. Interesting, did not know that. Probably a cost cap thing at the end of the day, like they said in there. So there are also other restrictions that have been introduced to reduce cost. Teams are only allowed to use the one wind tunnel, and they can't run the tunnel faster than 180 kilometers an hour, which is a little over 110 miles an hour. This may sound quick, but in terms of F1, it's not. Obviously, the cars in F1 will do corners at around 280 miles an hour depending on the track, and straights they'll do around 210, 215 depending on the circuits. And there's also restrictions on how many tests each team can perform. These restrictions have been in place for a few years now, but further limitations have been introduced for the 2021 season. And of course, basically, depending on your constructor standing position from the previous season, you'll have your test time in the wind tunnel limited as a result. So for example, McLaren coming into this season, because they're constructors champions, they will have the least amount of wind tunnel time that is allowed for the whole season, whereas Sauber at the bottom, they have the most. So in effect, Sauber will have around 25% more runs than McLaren allowed in their wind tunnel during the 2025 season because of their Constructors' Championship placing in 2024. But yeah, like I said in the intro, there is a lot more information on wind tunnels over on the F1Chronicle.com. Full article on there. I will link it in the description. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Microsoft, you're going to have to go to the website and look it up. Unfortunately, I don't have the facilities to do that on Microsoft. Nobody does. It's not a feature that's part of that platform yet, unfortunately. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that, guys. I hope that gave you some information about wind tunnels and how they work. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Did you have any wind tunnel stories? I'm all ears if you do. If you've ever been to one. I've never been to one personally. I would love to experience what that is actually like. Not in the wind tunnel though. That would probably be quite painful. But yeah, I'll see you soon for some more content here on the F1 Chronicle during this off season, guys. Hope you all had a Merry Christmas, and I all hope you have a fantastic New Year as well. Take care. See you soon. Like, share, comment, subscribe, ring the bell. You know how we do on here, and we'll see you soon, guys. Have a good one.